So obviously, Muriel, you've been involved in playing for and arranging all the music books for the RSCDS for a long time.
Yes. I've actually been involved in Scottish country dancing all my life, so in one shape or other, either a dancer or a player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Could say I've maybe served my apprenticeship.
But just maybe a little bit, you know. We're looking to encourage young people to creatively develop Scottish country dance music.
Which is a great idea.
And it's really to get them to come along and put their creative thinking hats on. The thing that we have to bear in mind is that the music is for dancing, and really this little discussion is to allow us to tell everybody what are the core structures, or what is the core things that we have to stick to. Things like rhythm was one that obviously we spoke about.
Well, I think for any kind of dancing, rhythm is the single most important thing. So the rhythm it doesn't mean it has to be dull, but it has to be steady all the way through. It can't get faster and get slower.
No.
Not for the kind of dancing that we're doing. So rhythm number one.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we spoke about it at the same time. The rhythm itself stays the same, but the feel is it's a 2-beat feel in jigs. Well, it's a 2-beat feel in jigs, reels, and strathspeys. The strathspeys are slightly different, but generally speaking, the jigs and reels it's a 2-beat feel.
A 2-beat feel with the emphasis at the beginning of the bar, because I think we have to remember in Scottish country dancing that we're dancing one step of music for one step to each bar of music.
Yeah.
So in that sense it has a feeling of one in the bar, but the music itself seems to sit well with a feeling of two.
The thing, it's interesting to the creative side of things is that we have to make sure that it has a feel that makes you want to dance and actually do the steps.
Yes.
And that's the point of this, the whole point of this discussion.
Because as we were talking earlier on about your new composition, they're arranged in different ways.
Yes, it makes you dance differently.
It makes you dance differently.
Yeah.
If you have any ear for the music at all, the music sends the message and then you respond in a certain way.
Exactly. It changes feel as it runs through each turn, specifically to make people listen to it, so that they go, "Oh, that's different. That does, and that makes me feel different. That makes me want to dance differently." So obviously, draws people's awareness to the music.
So what then makes us want to do a skip change of step, or what makes us want to do a pas de basque? So that feeling of two in the bar.
It's the thing
would
that does
do that. Yes,
exactly.
Yes, with a bit of lift. I always like to talk about the lift underneath your feet is when it happens in the music, and that would be when you're not stressing it. The next beat is often a light beat, so it might be strong, weak, and strong and weak.
Yeah.
So the two strong ones are the feeling of two in the bar, and the weak ones are usually when the dancers are off the floor. So you don't want to stress that. If you did stress it, you would be doing a stomping thing or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The other thing that playing for dancing that you have to be aware of is that there's a set amount of physicality involved, right?
Yes.
So every step there's a set amount of energy that has to be imparted into that step to get the people off the ground. And if the music's too slow, the people have to impart more energy.
Yes. And it becomes really tiring.
Yes. And it's an interesting thing, because you sometimes think, well, play it slower and it makes it easier to do. It's not the case.
No.
It's not. The slower it is, the better the dancer has to be to actually get through it.
Exactly. You need much more control.
Yeah. So the tempo is a really interesting point. There's a range to keep the tempo in, which is
about 34 seconds for 32 bars of music.
Yes. And that's really what we'll be looking for, people to keep it within that kind of range.
That's a sort of middle of the road, comfortable speed for most purposes. The tempo has to be fit for the purpose. I mean, if it's a demonstration team, as you were suggesting, with really experienced dancers with lots of control, then it can be even slower than that, 35 seconds perhaps. But your average dancer would probably be more comfortable slightly faster, maybe 33 to 34 seconds. It depends on the situation, whether a social hop or whatever.
Exactly.
So we've got the rhythm being steady, and we've got tempo.
The tempo and the feel. Yeah. Another thing we spoke about was trying to liberate some of the old traditional tunes.
Yes.
So looking at the old collections, and actually trying to pull out some of the old traditional music and give it a modern twist, a modern
Give it a
treatment.
new lease of life.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I think that would be super. I mean, there are, as you know, hundreds of just excellent tunes. And it's fun for us often to go back. We don't try to keep up with what's happening and the new tunes coming out and writing them ourselves, but just dipping back into those old collections. There are some gems.
There are.
Yes.
Yeah. Often find ones that you go, I have never ever heard that tune before.
That's right.
And you think, how could that be?
Yes. How could that one have
I know.
escaped and got lost? So it'll be really interesting, I think, with this project to have people coming to those collections with new eyes and ears and picking out the ones that appeal to them and finding out what they can do with them.
Yes, I think that's the key, because everybody has their own creative style, if you want to call it that. They can pull that tune and actually look at it and go, no, I can do a lot more with that, or I can do X, Y, and Z with it.
Or they might hear an instrument that we didn't maybe typically associate with Scottish country dance bands or something like that.
Exactly.
So that would be exciting.